This truck is actually based on a Ford Bronco frame, or is the Bronco based on the Ranger frame? I'm not quite sure. However, these vehicles are built on the exact same assembly line, and you're going to be shocked at how many similarities there are between this truck and those Bronco Raptors right behind it. Now, the Ranger Raptor, to me, is one of the most underrated pickup trucks on the market. The Toyota Tacoma TRD Pros are great vehicles, and I have nothing against them, but those things are still selling for crazy prices over MSRP. They're just generally extremely expensive. I think the Ranger Raptor, especially this pre-owned one, shameless plug, I'll have it linked down below if you want to take a look at it, is a great option. It's available at the time I'm making this video, and I believe the Ranger Raptor is one of the most underrated pickup trucks on the market for quite a few different reasons. The very first one is the engine. I'm going to pop the hood so you can see what I'm talking about. The Ranger Raptor is the only Ranger that you can get with what is, in my opinion, and by the facts, the best engine available for this truck. This has got a 3.0-liter V6 engine. Yes, this is the exact same engine that you can find in the Bronco Raptor and a couple of other high-end performance vehicles, like the Ford Explorer Street. I love this engine for lots of different reasons. Number 1, it's been good to me. I've got a Bronco Raptor that I've owned for quite a few years now with the Ford Performance Pro Call tune on it, and it is absolutely stout. There are a lot of similarities between this engine, this frame, and the Bronco Raptor. Basically, we're just comparing the things that make this truck like a golden retriever. Well, number 1, it's reliable all day long. We did a video, which I'll link for you if you want to take a look, where we took the service data from our dealership, ran it through artificial intelligence, and found out what the most reliable engine is. Believe it or not, it's the 3.0-liter V6. So, it's pretty solid stuff there. And speaking of solid, do you hear that nice, solid thud? That sounded pretty good. You've got your functional heat extractors here, a completely different grille, and nice headlights that actually have performance LED stamped inside of them. It's a very nice looking front end. Overall, it just looks solid to me. You've got a custom bumper that is exclusive to the Raptor. You've also got your front parking sensors here. It really looks very different from a normal Ford Ranger. It's very cool because, at the end of the day, the F-150 Raptor started the entire revolution of off-road pickup trucks. It's been so popular that they decided they probably needed to introduce one for the Ranger, and that's exactly what you've got. These fender flares look just like a normal F-150 Raptor fender flare. The wheels and tires also look like an F-150 Raptor wheel and tire combination. As you can see, you've got your Fox Live valve suspension system built into the Ranger Raptor. Once again, this is like a smaller version of an F-150 Raptor, but it's just as reliable. I think that's one of the reasons, as cheesy as it sounds, why it's kind of like the golden retriever of pickup trucks. Notice how you have a unique front fender because it features a wide body kit to ensure coverage over these BFG Coda tires. Quite frankly, I think this is one of the most underrated pickup trucks on the market. You'll notice the cab itself is very similar to a normal Ranger cab because, although you've got this wide body kit, the doors and the cab configuration are all exactly the same. The structure and architecture of the vehicle are the same, but that wide body kit also remains out back with the nice Raptor badging, the same fender flares, and full coverage for those rear wheels and tires. You've also got that nice suspension system out back as well. Another thing about the Ranger Raptor is this nice textured running board, which is synonymous with all of the F-150 Raptors and all the other Raptors on the market. They have these really nice running boards, and this one is no different, so I love it. Taking a look out back, you've got a couple of things going on. Obviously, your tailgate is actually going to be the exact same as a normal Ranger, but you do have the Raptor badging. That's one difference, as the F-150 Raptor actually has a unique tailgate with Raptor stamped into the backside of it, so just keep that in mind. However, I love the bumpers that they've got on this vehicle. Just like we have a custom front bumper, you get a custom rear bumper, and it heavily features that Raptor DNA style. There's a whole lot going on here that matches the Ranger Raptor to what the F-150 Raptor does. This particular vehicle, as I mentioned to you, is a certified pre-owned vehicle, but it does have an actual Ford bed cover on the back. This one is just a soft canvas, but it is an actual Ford bed cover that comes with the vehicle. With that being said, let's take a look at the inside and show you some of the differences on the Raptor version of the Ranger as well. On the inside of the Ranger Raptor, This is where the magic happens, if you want to put it nicely and cheesily like that. Take a look at the completely upgraded seats. These are completely different from anything else you'll find on any of the other Rangers. The Raptor logo is stamped right here into the seat back. You have custom orange stitching in the headrest and all the way down the seats. You also have code orange located inside of the side bolsters as well. Personally, I think Ford absolutely crushed this interior. I'm going to hop inside to show you a couple of other things. As I get in here, notice that I am 6'3". Just for reference, you can see how much headroom I've got, and the seat wasn't even all the way down. Now that it is, I've got even more headroom being 6'3". I have plenty of space. I can still get the steering wheel exactly where I need it, and I actually need to scoot forward a bit to get into a comfortable position. This is exactly how I would be driving the vehicle, and you can see how much headroom there is for someone who is 6'3". Looking up here, you do have your auxiliary switches, which I love because they're pre-wired and ready to go. You can set up extra lights, a winch, or whatever you need to wire in. That is taken care of automatically, which will clean up the workflow when getting that custom gear installed. Now, let's talk about the rest of the interior, because there are some things I love and some things that I don't love so much. One thing that has always felt weird to me is the shifter. It's almost like a knob. Personally, I prefer a dial, an actual gear shifter, or even a column shifter up top. This little knob setup, where it is halfway between a traditional shifter and a shift knob, just feels a little different. However, I'm sure that if I drove this thing every day, I would get used to it pretty quickly. Another knock on the interior is going to be the screen. The technology inside of this is fine. I don't have any issues with that. You've got your 360-degree camera system and all of that kind of stuff, but I will say that I prefer a horizontal layout instead of this vertical screen. At the same time, this Ranger Raptor is not as wide as an F-150 Raptor, so there's not as much horizontal space to place a horizontal screen. I get why it flows with the rest of the interior. Look at this material. It sure looks and feels like Alcantara, but I don't think that it actually is. It is a soft touch material here with hard touch plastics up front, but they did a good job of putting the nice materials where it matters. Speaking of that, you all know I am a sucker for a good steering wheel. That's why I bought my Bronco Raptor instead of a normal Bronco. You have a thicker steering wheel here with bolsters for when you're performance driving. Your paddle shifters are located right here, and they feel just fine. If you want to use the transmission to its full potential, my recommendation is to put it into Baja mode. When you do that, you have anti-lag automatically so that when you're ripping through the dunes, the turbos will stay spooled up. And you can get right back into the power automatically without having to worry about the power falling flat at the wrong time. I think that's really, really cool. Looking here, you do have dual climate control, so the driver and the passenger can set the temperature exactly where they need it. Thank you, Ford, for giving us dedicated physical knobs for the climate, the volume, and the fan speed. To me, that is one of the things that I've always struggled with in the past. When you put everything on the screen, it gets a little too distracting to drive the vehicle on a daily basis. Being a smaller vehicle than an F-150, you're not going to have as much space in the center console, but it's still nothing to complain about. You just need to know it's a little bit different. Looking here, you do have a very similar drive mode knob to what you'll find in something like the Bronco Raptor. However, notice how this one functions. You have your drive modes here where you can sort through them, but while the Bronco knob just keeps turning over and over, this one keeps resetting to the middle. It's just a difference in functionality, but it's kind of neat to see. You do have fork high, fork low, and two up high, but this one also gives you a fork automatic all-wheel drive mode. Basically, when you're driving at high speed, it's slippery outside, and you need four-wheel drive but you're on pavement, this has clutches in the transfer case that allow for slippage. This ensures you don't damage something underneath your vehicle, like your transfer case. It's nice that you have that here. You've also got a couple of really cool buttons here where you can change a few things. If you click on this button, it automatically pulls up your off-road view, where you can see exactly where your tires are pointed, even while moving forward. That way, when you're bombing through the desert or just rock crawling, you know exactly where your tires are going to go. That's not a reverse camera, it's a forward-facing camera, so I think that's really neat. All in all, I think Ford has absolutely crushed the interior and the overall presentation of the Ranger Raptor. It's why this is by far the fastest selling Ranger trim that you can possibly buy. The back of the vehicle highlights one of the biggest differences you'll see on this compared to an F-150 Raptor. the overall size, and the amount of legroom that you have back here. Now, there are a couple of things to note before I show you that. You do have center console cup holders, though you do not have cup holders integrated into the armrest like you do in the F150. Yet, you still get the nice orange bolsters on the back seats as well. If you take a look underneath the seat, you can see there is a little bit of storage capacity, and you can actually lock the seat in this upright position if you want to put something underneath it. It's a very different functionality compared to how the F150 seats work, but it is nice to see overall. You just pull that same latch, and it comes right back down. I want to talk a little bit more about the legroom because, once again, this is going to be the biggest difference. I intentionally left the front seat in the perfect position for my driving style so that you can see how much legroom, or lack thereof, you have back here. If I were going to have a 6'3" person in the front and a 6'3" person in the back all the time, I might go for the F150 instead of the Ranger. But at the end of the day, if you have small kids or you don't have passengers in the back seat all that often and you still want the mobility, it is nice to have this slightly more nimble truck. Overall, for a smaller truck, I can't really complain about the lack of legroom because you know exactly what you're getting before you buy into it. With that said, I've got one other reason why I think this is the golden retriever of Ford pickup trucks, and that is because of this. This is a Ford certified pre-owned vehicle, but it's not just any certification. It's a gold certified pre-owned. So, golden retriever meets gold certified. It's really cheesy and a bit silly, and I'm sorry you had to hear that, but it does actually come with quite a few different benefits, like a 100,000-mile powertrain warranty that you don't even get on a standard Ford factory vehicle. Because it's certified, you actually get a couple of key advantages, such as a 12-month, 12,000-mile comprehensive limited warranty. You even have a 14-a-day, 1,000-mile money-back guarantee. Basically, if you don't like the truck within that time frame, you just bring it right back to us. I think this is a really good reason to consider a pre-owned model rather than just a brand new Ford Ranger Raptor. A lot of the videos you see always feature a brand new vehicle, but sometimes you have to look at something like this, which is a 2025 model, and realize, hey, I can save money. And I can actually get a longer warranty than I would if it were brand new. To me, I think it's a win-win, just like owning a golden retriever. Pardon the cheesiness, but hopefully, you enjoyed this different style of video. If you did, let me know by leaving a comment down below. And if you haven't already done so, make sure you subscribe to the channel with the bell notification turned on so you don't miss a single video. Peace.